Living in the Netherlands begins with an unusual agreement. The ground beneath a home may be lower than the water beside it, yet breakfast is made, children leave for school, trains arrive, and shops open, as if nothing remarkable is happening. Beyond Amsterdam's familiar canals lies another Netherlands' quiet polders, cut by drainage channels, young towns standing on a former seabed greenhouse districts, glowing before sunrise, and neighborhoods where bicycles often move more freely than cars. These are not empty landscapes made only for postcards. They are working places shaped by water and filled with ordinary routines. This journey follows how daily life works below sea level. That condition reaches into the root to work the pressure on housing, the rhythm of family life, the design of a street, and even the Dutch idea of freedom. The question is not simply how a country holds back the sea. It is how millions of people have built a normal life on land that can never be taken for granted. The day often begins on two wheels. On a residential street, a parent settles a child into a bicycle seat. A student checks a bag and joins the flow toward school. A commuter in work clothes rides to the station, steps off, and disappears among rows of handlebars. No single rider looks dramatic. That is exactly the point. Cycling works here because it is treated less as a sport than as an everyday way to move. Children, office workers, older residents, shoppers, and families all use the same network for different parts of the day. The Netherlands has about 35,000 kilometers of cycle tracks, including fast routes. Distance alone, however, does not create the habit. The important details appear at every junction: a protected lane, a separate signal, a curb that guides traffic, a bridge with a manageable slope, and a place to leave a bicycle near the destination. Together, those details remove hundreds of small negotiations from a journey. A rider does not have to compete with cars for every meter. A child can learn a route gradually. A parent can combine school shopping and work without turning each stop into a separate car trip. The bicycle looks individual, but the freedom it offers is collective. It depends on design, maintenance, and rules, followed by people who may never meet. The weather does not always cooperate. Rain crosses the street sideways. Wind moves freely across the flat landscape. Coats darken, tires hiss on wet pavement, and hands tighten around the handlebars. The flow continues, sometimes slower, rarely surprised. The ordinary clothing matters as much as the ordinary bicycle. Many riders are not dressed for exercise. They are dressed for the office, the classroom, the shop, or the weather. Bags sit in front baskets. Children ride in seats or cargo boxes. The bicycle is adapted to the task, rather than saved for a special occasion. At a railway station, the journey changes scale. A rider locks a bicycle and catches a train. At the far end, another bicycle may be rented for the final part of the trip. Rail walking, buses, and cycling become parts of one connected route. At major stations, bicycle parking can feel like infrastructure hidden beneath the city. Ramps lead to numbered rows, repair services, and rental points. Finding one bicycle among thousands can still test anyone's memory, and abandoned frames still have to be removed. But the space reveals how seriously a simple machine is treated when the transport network expects it to be there. The movement through the station is almost a sequence of its own. Slow down on the ramp, scan the row number, lift the front wheel into a rack lock, the frame, and join the people walking toward the platforms. In the evening, the same steps run in reverse. One missed number can turn a quick departure into a long search. That connection changes where people can live and work. A household may settle in a smaller town while remaining linked to a larger city without beginning every morning behind a steering wheel. The same street carries social life. People pass one another at a pace where a greeting is possible. A child notices the bakery, the canal, the roadworks, and familiar faces moving in the opposite direction. Cycling does not make every journey easy. Congestion, collisions, disability distance, and unsafe routes still matter. Yet the morning commute introduces a recurring Dutch bargain. Personal movement becomes easier when public space is carefully organized. Look beneath that street, and the bargain becomes larger. Much of the Netherlands lies in a delta of rivers, lakes, canals, soft soil, and low ground. Water arrives from the sea, from the Rhine, and Meuse from rainfall and from the soil itself. Some areas can drain naturally, others cannot. A polder is an enclosed area where water levels are managed. It may contain farmland, homes, industry, or an entire landscape. Smaller ditches and channels collect water inside it. Pumps can lift that water into higher canals, which eventually connect to rivers, lakes, or the sea. This is why the Dutch landscape often looks so deliberately divided. A road follows a dike. A canal runs beside a field. Houses stand in a line on slightly higher ground. What appears decorative from the air is often part of a water system still doing its job. At a pumping station, gauges track the level outside. When pumps start, water moves from a lower channel to a higher one. The action is quiet, mechanical, and repetitive, but the result reaches farms, streets, and homes beyond the frame. There is no final moment when the land becomes permanently dry. Rain returns, rivers rise and fall, salt water presses inland, peat and clay can subside. The system must respond tomorrow and the day after that. The Beemster Polder north of Amsterdam makes this logic visible on a grand scale. Lake Beemster was drained in 1612, and the new land was organized into a geometric pattern of fields, roads, canals, dikes, and settlements. More than 4 centuries later, that structure remains easy to read. People farm there, cycle through it, and live beside its straight waterways. Tractors and delivery vehicles move through a landscape whose calm appearance depends on continued water management. The geometry is historic, but the place is still alive. At ground level, the pattern becomes less abstract. A farmhouse faces a long road. A narrow bridge crosses a drainage canal. Rows of trees mark another line in the grid. The landscape offers wide views, yet almost every line has a practical purpose: access, drainage protection, or the division of land. Farther east, Flevoland tells a much newer version of the story. Eastern Flevoland was made dry in 1957. Southern Flevoland in 1968, and the province was formally established in 1986. Here the horizon feels unusually young. Roads, farms, forests, wind turbines, and cities occupy ground that older maps show as water. Almere and Lelystad did not grow slowly from medieval centers. They developed within a landscape planned after the land itself became available. That newness produces a different rhythm from Canal Ring Amsterdam. Streets are broader. Neighborhoods open toward water and green space. Agricultural plots extend in long, deliberate lines. The hidden place is not a forgotten village. It is an inhabited former seabed. Reclamation, however, is only part of the modern story. Dutch water policy no longer assumes that every drop should be removed as quickly as possible. Heavy rain may need temporary storage. Rivers need room during high flow. Fresh water has to be protected during dry periods. That produces decisions which can appear contradictory. A field may need drainage in winter and water retention in summer. A city may need more homes and more space for heavy rain at the same time. A canal can support transport, ecology, recreation, and drainage, but not always without trade-offs. The National Delta Program is updated every year because flood protection cannot be separated from drought, heat, land subsidence, housing, farming, and nature. The question is no longer only how to remove water, but where to hold it, when to release it, and how to live with greater uncertainty. The largest structures make that responsibility visible. Near Rotterdam, the 2 immense arms of the Westland barrier normally remain open so ships can reach the port. When water levels are forecast to cross defined danger thresholds, the barrier closes automatically, while an operational team monitors the process. In Zeeland, the Eastern Scheldt barrier follows a different compromise. Its gates normally stay open, allowing tides and salt water to move through the estuary. They close during exceptionally high water. Protection matters. but so do the ecology and working life of the estuary. These structures attract cameras because of their scale. Daily safety also depends on less dramatic places: a maintained dike, a clear drainage channel, a working sluice, and a pump ready before the next storm. Responsibility is divided among national agencies, provinces, municipalities, and 21 regional water authorities. The water authorities maintain dikes and sluices, manage water levels, and treat wastewater. Most members of their governing boards are elected by eligible residents. Wastewater adds another cycle that usually stays out of sight. Water leaves homes and businesses and enters a network that must remove waste before treated water returns to the environment. Screens, settling tanks, biological treatment laboratories, and constant monitoring protect public health and the rivers and canals that define the landscape. Water management is therefore not only the work of distant engineers. It reaches local government elections, farming decisions, and construction plans. People may disagree about price-nature housing or agriculture, but the water still has to move. This constant organization also shapes the meeting point between private life and public space. On some Dutch streets, front windows sit close to the pavement. A passerby may glimpse a dining table, plants on a sill, or warm light in a living room. Some households close their curtains. Others leave more of the interior visible. It is a recognizable pattern in certain neighborhoods, not a rule for every Dutch home. An uncovered window is not an invitation to stare. A bicycle left outside still belongs to someone. A shared stair canal edge or narrow pavement works because people learn to read boundaries that are not always marked by a wall. Visitors also often describe Dutch conversation as direct. Disagreement may arrive quickly with less verbal cushioning than some cultures expect. Friends may plan their time precisely, sometimes weeks ahead. These are tendencies, not a national personality. Region, generation, setting, and the people involved can change the experience completely. Clarity can be useful where space-time and responsibilities overlap. Warmth has its own language too. The Dutch word Gezelligheid can describe the positive atmosphere of a comfortable room, an easy meal, a welcoming cafe, or time enjoyed with other people. Order and warmth are not opposites here. Sometimes a clear arrangement is what leaves room for an unhurried evening. The balance becomes especially visible between work and family. In 2024, the Netherlands had the highest overall share of part-time employment in the European Union. The pattern was much stronger among women than among men. Shorter hours can create time for care, study, health, or life outside paid employment. They can also reduce income, career progression, and future pension benefits. Part-time work should not be presented as a perfect lifestyle choice available equally to everyone. For some households, it is a deliberate arrangement. For others, it reflects the cost and availability of childcare, the type of job on offer, or older expectations about who provides care. The numbers also conceal different working weeks. One person may work 4 long days. Another may work shorter shifts across 5 days. A third may want more hours, but be unable to secure them. The label is the same while the effect on income, care, and free time can be very different. The result can be seen in ordinary weekday routines. A parent collects a child before evening. Groceries are carried home by bicycle in the afternoon. School sport appointments and paid work are fitted into a week that may not follow the same full-time pattern for both adults. Across a morning school route, several systems meet. A child is fastened into a seat. The bicycle enters a protected lane and crosses a canal. Near the school, families arrive on foot or on 2 wheels. Later, the same streets carry groceries and tired children back through the neighborhood. The sequence is small enough to overlook. A parent slows at a junction. A child points toward a friend. Bicycles gather near the entrance. Then the street becomes quiet again. The routine lasts only a few minutes, but it repeats across neighborhoods and gives the infrastructure its real meaning. It looks like private family life, Yet it depends on street design, working hours, childcare, housing, location, and public safety. An intimate routine is supported by choices made far beyond the household. Where safe routes and nearby destinations exist, children can gain independent mobility gradually. A bicycle may connect home with school friends' sport and a first part-time job. Independence grows through repeated journeys rather than appearing all at once with a driving license. The experience is not equal for everyone. Long commutes shift work disability income, and gaps in the network can limit who benefits. The bicycle remains a powerful symbol because it shows what becomes possible when everyday movement is designed for more than one age group. West of the old cities, another landscape begins to glow. In the Westland region, greenhouses spread across the land in broad sheets of glass. Before sunrise, their lights can turn low clouds orange. By day, the roofs reflect the sky until entire districts seem covered in water. Inside, cultivation becomes a measured sequence. Workers move through rows of tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, or flowers. Plants and fruit are checked. Climate, light, water, and nutrients are monitored. Natural enemies of crop pests are widely used in Dutch greenhouse cultivation. Harvested produce then moves towards sorting, packing, and transport. Each stage has its own pace. Growing is slow, but harvesting and distribution cannot be. A worker checks color and firmness before cutting or picking. Carts carry the harvest out of the rows. In the packing area, produce is weighed, graded, labeled, and prepared for the next vehicle. The purpose is not to imitate nature perfectly. It is to manage variables that an open field leaves to chance. This helps explain how a small and densely populated country became a major agricultural trading center. Dutch agricultural exports in 2025 were estimated at €137.5 billion. Of that amount, €49.1 billion consisted of goods produced elsewhere and then re-exported through Dutch trade networks. The ranking matters less than the network behind it: production, research, ports, logistics, and markets. Produce grown under glass can be graded, packed, and placed into a distribution chain designed around freshness. Flowers pass through auctions and transport networks that move perishable products across borders at speed. Efficiency carries costs. Heated and illuminated greenhouses can demand large amounts of energy. Water and nutrients must be managed carefully. High technology does not erase environmental pressure. It changes where the pressure appears and how closely it can be measured. Across the sector, growers and researchers are working with recirculated irrigation, water, lower energy lighting, biological pest control, geothermal heat, and heat networks. These methods are not used in the same way by every business, and none should be treated as proof that every environmental problem has been solved. The human work remains visible behind the clean geometry. Someone checks a stem before the camera sees a perfect row. Someone removes damaged produce, cleans. A tray stacks a box, monitors equipment, and prepares the next cycle. The greenhouse also changes through the day. Early light mixes with lamps above the crop. Doors open and close as carts move between warm growing areas and cooler packing spaces. Condensation gathers on glass. The air machinery and plants create a workplace that feels both agricultural and industrial. Automation can carry trays, record temperatures, and sort by size, but it does not make the workplace empty. Packing lines require coordination. Seasonal peaks require labor. Drivers wait for loads that must leave on time. One delayed stage can shorten the useful life of an entire shipment. From outside, the greenhouse is a geometric object in the landscape. From inside, it is a workplace where biological growth meets industrial timing. It is also tied closely to water. Too much, too little, too salty, or poorly managed water can change a harvest. The same country that pumps rain from a polder also measures irrigation carefully under glass. Water engineering is not a separate story running beside daily life. It passes through food work, transport, land value, and the decisions made inside an ordinary business. Engineered land is still limited land. The national housing shortfall in 2025 was estimated at nearly 400,000 homes. In the same year, the average transaction price of an existing owner-occupied home reached €480,000. National averages do not describe every town or household, but the pressure is difficult to miss. Young adults may remain with parents longer than planned. Students compete for rooms. Families search beyond the city where they work. First-time buyers try to keep pace with prices. Almost every square meter already has a purpose. Building upward can raise concerns about light and neighborhood character. Building outward competes with farmland, nature transport, and water storage. On soft or low ground foundations, drainage and long-term flood risk become part of the calculation. A location that looks empty on a map may already store stormwater, protect a view, support farming, or sit beyond an efficient transport link. The debate is therefore rarely just about whether to build. It is about which function should move, which risk should be accepted, and who will carry the cost. Housing in the Netherlands is therefore also a water story. In old canal cities, narrow homes use height where street frontage is limited. In newer districts, apartment buildings stand beside ponds and channels that can hold rain. Some experimental neighborhoods place homes on or beside the water, allowing buildings to respond to changing levels rather than treating water as absent. Adaptation can be much smaller. A planted depression beside a street can collect a sudden downpour. Permeable ground slows water before it reaches a sewer. A playground or public square may hold rain temporarily and return to daily use after it drains. Water is not always expelled immediately. Sometimes it is given a safe place to wait. Houseboats and floating homes make the relationship more visible. Converted vessels and purpose-built homes line parts of the country's waterways. Their connection to the key utilities, maintenance, and changing weather makes water part of the address rather than scenery outside it. Daily routines still look familiar, from the quay, a bicycle beside the gangway, groceries carried across a window opened above the water. But access repairs and utility connections require a different kind of attention. The home may be still, yet the surface around it is always moving. Floating homes cannot solve a national shortage by themselves, and not every area can become another reclaimed polder. The harder choices concern where to build, which landscapes to protect, and how much future risk a new neighborhood should inherit. That tension complicates the image of Dutch planning as effortless perfection. The country has impressive infrastructure, yet permits and construction take time. It has created land, yet space feels scarce. It celebrates compact cities, yet many people struggle to find an affordable home within reach of work. The system works, but it never reaches a final state. The same is true of the freedom for which the Netherlands is known. In 2001, it became the first country to introduce marriage for same-sex couples. Sex work between consenting adults is legal, while rules and licensing can vary by municipality. The sale of small quantities of cannabis in coffee shops is tolerated under strict conditions. These facts are sometimes compressed into the idea that almost anything is legal. That is inaccurate. Under the general policy, cannabis remains illegal to possess, produce, or sell, while small-scale possession and coffee shop sales are generally not prosecuted when the official conditions are met. Since April 2025, a separate controlled supply experiment has allowed licensed growers to supply regulated cannabis to coffee shops in 10 participating municipalities. Sex work is legal, but coercion, exploitation, trafficking, and work involving minors remain crimes and serious concerns. Dutch tolerance is therefore less about removing rules than about deciding what should be regulated, monitored, or separated from greater harm. The approach remains debated, and its results contain contradictions. This is not a side story added for shock. It follows a pattern already visible in water, and transport freedom becomes practical through boundaries, oversight, and shared expectations. When protection fails, freedom can fail with it. The Netherlands is not one open-minded personality multiplied across an entire population. It contains religious communities, secular cities, conservative households, progressive movements, people with roots across the world, strong regional identities, and constant disagreement. Any honest portrait has to leave room for that variety. By late afternoon, public life becomes easier to taste. At a street market, fish, cheese, bread, flowers, and vegetables bring the wider economy down to the scale of a counter. A herring vendor prepares fish with onions and pickles. At another stall, warm syrup holds two thin waffle layers together. Nearby, someone orders fried fish or takes a croquette from one of the small glass doors of an automat. These foods are often presented as a list of Dutch curiosities. In daily life, their value is simpler. They are familiar, quick, and easy to fit between work, shopping, school, and the journey home. The market also shows how dense towns create contact. Customers arrive on foot or by bicycle. Deliveries have to fit narrow streets. Stalls are assembled in the morning and disappear later, returning the square to another use. Hands make the scene move. Fish is wrapped, cheese is cut, flowers are gathered, coins and cards change sides, and a bicycle basket fills one purchase at a time. The market is not separate from the working day. It fits into the spaces between other journeys. One place performs several jobs across a single day. The same flexibility appears in cafes and around family tables. Coffee can stretch into conversation. A simple meal can feel gezellig without becoming formal. The atmosphere comes from familiarity, attention, and time shared without hurry. The wider landscape is still present. Flowers may have passed through greenhouse districts. Fish links the counter to coastal supply chains. Cheese and vegetables connect urban customers to farms across the polders. The bicycle outside connects the table to home. Evening returns the country to water and light. Commuters unlock bicycles at stations. Parents carry sleeping children through the final streets. In the Westland, greenhouse roofs catch the last color of the sky. Across Flevoland, wind moves over fields that were water within living memory. Beside a canal, the surface reflects windows, bridges, and the red rear lights of passing bicycles. A pump may continue after the road grows quiet. Water managers follow forecasts. A barrier near the coast remains open, prepared for the conditions that would require it to close. The hidden places of the Netherlands are not hidden because nobody knows their names. They are hidden because visitors often pass over their function. A drainage channel can be as revealing as a landmark. A bicycle junction can say more about practical freedom than a slogan. A greenhouse worker, a parent on the school route, a resident of a polder, and a family searching for a home all live inside the same arrangement between waterland and responsibility. It is tempting to call this a victory over nature. That would be too simple. The sea has not been defeated. Rivers continue to change. Rainfall, drought, subsidence, salinization, and rising sea levels keep altering the calculation. What the Dutch have built is not permanent control. It is a culture of maintenance. Maintenance is less dramatic than conquest. It means inspecting, repairing, paying, voting, measuring, and adapting before a crisis makes the need obvious. A system protecting millions of people cannot be left to run on memory alone. The same habit helps explain the relationship between order and freedom. People can move independently because streets are organized. Families can arrange time differently because transport and services support the routine. Homes can stand on low ground because institutions maintain the boundaries. Personal choices can be protected because laws define both rights and limits. None of these arrangements is perfect. Housing is scarce. Climate pressure is increasing. Paid work and unpaid care remain unequal. Agricultural efficiency carries environmental costs. Tolerance does not eliminate exploitation or prejudice. Daily life continues because these problems are treated as work to be managed, argued over, and shared. Tomorrow morning, bicycles will return to the lanes. Greenhouse doors will open. Water levels will be checked. Trains will carry people between old towns and new land. In thousands of homes below sea level, the day will begin without ceremony. Perhaps that is the most extraordinary part of living here. The Netherlands has turned one of the world's most carefully managed landscapes into a place where ordinary life can feel ordinary. If you would like to keep exploring how people live in places shaped by extraordinary geography, join us in the next documentary from Best Hidden Places.